As the Tigray War erupted in November 2020, the conflict quickly transcended Ethiopia's borders, drawing in a multitude of regional and international actors and escalating into a proxy battle with significant implications for the Horn of Africa. Initially sparked by a dispute over the legitimacy of Tigray's regional elections, the situation rapidly evolved into a full-scale military confrontation. Federal forces, determined to suppress the TPLF's rebellion, launched a relentless offensive aimed at reclaiming authority over the region. The war unleashed a devastating wave of violence, leading to widespread atrocities, mass displacement, and severe human rights abuses. Reports of indiscriminate shelling, extrajudicial killings, and widespread destruction painted a harrowing picture of the conflict's brutality. The humanitarian crisis deepened, with millions of civilians trapped in dire conditions, facing acute food insecurity and a lack of basic services. The involvement of Eritrea, a long-standing adversary of the TPLF, added a new dimension to the conflict. Eritrean forces entered the fray in support of the Ethiopian federal government, intensifying the battles and opening up new fronts. This external intervention not only exacerbated the violence, but also raised alarms over the potential for regional destabilization. Further complicating the conflict were the actions of other regional players like Egypt, which provided logistical support to the TPLF, leveraging the chaos to advance its own strategic interests. This external involvement turned the Tigray conflict into a geopolitical chess game, with each move fraught with implications for regional balance and stability. As the war dragged on, the international community watched with growing concern. Efforts to mediate were stymied by the deep-rooted animosities and the strategic calculations of all parties involved. With each passing day, the prospects for a peaceful resolution seemed increasingly remote, casting a long shadow over the future of Ethiopia and the stability of the Horn of Africa. As the conflict entered its second year, the region remained mired in a complex web of conflict and uncertainty, with the humanitarian toll mounting and no end in sight. In the shadow of Ethiopia's internal strife, Eritrea's intervention in the Tigray War marked a significant escalation, driven by deep-seated animosities and strategic ambitions. Longtime adversaries of the TPLF, Eritrean leaders saw the conflict as a golden opportunity to assert their influence over Ethiopia and pursue long-held territorial disputes. With a swift and decisive move, Eritrean troops crossed into Tigray, aligning with Abiy Ahmed's federal forces in a bid to squash the TPLF's resistance. The involvement of Eritrean forces brought a new level of intensity to the conflict, opening additional fronts and complicating the already dire humanitarian situation. Eritrea's motivations were multifaceted, rooted in historical grievances and a strategic desire to reclaim disputed territories, such as the contentious town of Badme. This town had been a flashpoint in the Ethiopian-Eritrean relationship, symbolizing decades of unresolved border conflicts. As Eritrean soldiers advanced, reports of atrocities began to surface, tales of massacres, sexual violence, and forced displacements that painted a chilling picture of Eritrea's military campaign. The international community expressed outrage, yet the Eritrean government remained undeterred, steadfast in its support for Ethiopia's federal agenda and its own regional aspirations. The alliance between Ethiopia and Eritrea, solidified amidst the chaos, underscored a shared strategic vision that went beyond mere suppression of the TPLF. This partnership aimed at reshaping the geopolitical landscape of the Horn of Africa, raising alarms about the potential for further regional destabilization. As the war lingered, the role of Eritrea in the conflict continued to draw scrutiny and concern, highlighting the intricate web of regional dynamics and the urgent need for a coordinated international effort to address the deep-rooted causes of the crisis and foster long-term peace and stability in the region.